Tape www.suividécole-au-Sénégal.com. À école au Sénégal, c'est facile, tu n'as qu'à te connecter. Tape école au Sénégal, les leçons sont beaucoup plus détaillées.
Tenses. Tenses is what we use usually that help to make up our sentences, and this gives us descriptions of what has happened or what is to happen. And so today we'll be looking at the present simple tense. Of course, we know in the English language there are 12 tenses. You have the present, you have the past, and of course you have the future. Let us start with the base form, the basic of our tenses, which is the present simple. It's as simple as it is. It's a present time, and it's as easy as possible, to retain. With the present simple, it's so easy. There's nothing you get to add except for an S. You add an S. An S is added to the third person singular. He, she, or it. An S is added either to the verb or to the auxiliary do. And so you have an S. But what is it for actually, the present simple? Present simple, what is it actually used for, apart from the fact that it's the base form of every sentence? It is also used when an action is happening at that very moment. Are you eating? When an action is happening at that very moment, it is present simple, Or when the action happens regularly, constantly, always, each time, every time, we use the simple present tense, Or it could be that it's a constant habit. Is it a constant habit? Is it a constant fact? Is it a fact? For example, the American president lives at the White House, leaves, S to the verb to leave. So he leaves at the White House. It's a fact. It's not, it's something that cannot be disputed. Habit, she gets up. Maria gets up every day at 4 a.m. Every morning she gets up. Maria gets up at 4 every day. Gets, S to the verb get. It is also something that is generally true. It's generally true. It snows during winter. During the winter, it snows. An S, so it's normal. You see snow during the winter. And so those are present simple when an S is being added, when it's a fact, when it's a habit, when it's something that is constant, when it's something that happens regularly, the particular time, we use present simple. Take note, please. S is a third person singular, he, she, or it. He sleeps, he eats, he plays, she drinks, it loads, So present simple, we have a bunch of questions here that have present simple. Do you play the piano? Do. There's no S. Because remember, S is when it's a third person singular only. But any other thing, you have no S to it. So, do you play the piano? Where do you work? Does Jack play basketball? Where does he work? Does, because he has a he, third person singular. Jack is a he, so he has does, S, third person singular. So therefore, does is for third person singular, whereas you have the do, which is for others. I, you, they, we. You would use do. Do they play basketball? Do they play basketball? Do they love pasta? But if it were a third person singular, does she, does she love pasta? So you have the does and the do. And so do and does are used to make questions. When you want to formulate a question, present simple, you use do or you use does. For example, where do Angela and Kathy live? You see, these are plural, Angela and Kathy. You say, where do they live? You don't say, where do Angela and Kathy live? That's a question. But you can say, when does Angela usually get up? When does Angela usually come? So when you're formulating a question, when you're wanting to make a question or formulate a question, it is either do or does. If it's a third person singular for a question, you use does. He, she eat, Paul, Jackie eat. But if there any other I, you, we, and they, it is do. We use the do. So please take note, okay, about the third person singular. For simple tense, you just add s for simple tense. He works, he eats, he plays football or tennis every Saturday. He works at the bank. Those are things that are constant, that are regular, where you add an s just to the verb on third person singular. But I play basketball, or you play tennis on Wednesday, but she plays. So you add an s to the verb, okay? When you're reformulating, you add an s to the verb when you're reformulating a sentence. When you're making a sentence in the present simple, an s is added to the verb in the third person singular, s. Anything else is just the way it is. I work, you work, he or she or it works, we work, they work. So there's no s, okay? But when you're asking questions, then you can put now on the do, s. And then we have the negative form of the do and does. Of course, it's doesn't, which means does not, and don't, which means do not. And I've told you doesn't, it's a third person only that you use when you're asking questions. And the do not is any other personal pronoun, I, you, we, they, And so, for example, we have here, John doesn't live in Paris, because John is a he, third person singular. John doesn't live in Paris. Kathy doesn't drive to work. She takes, see there's an S to the verb take, prendre. She takes the bus. I don't like mangoes. I, personal pronoun, I don't like mangoes. Okay? And then I want you to take note about some of those irregular verbs. Do becomes does. Go become goes. Have become has. Kathy has a dog. You would not say Kathy have. Kathy has a dog because it's an S. We changed the have to an S. Paul loves, or Paul has a bike. Has, avoir, has. He goes to church every Sunday. Il va aller chaque dimanche. He goes, And so these are some of those irregular that you can change, that you have to change at the third person singular. But it is present simple and it's easy. We're going to work on some exercises in the next class and that you'll be able to use them. Okay, but remember that present simple is just adding an S to the third person singular as far as a verb is concerned, or on the do and the does. As you conjugate things, actions that are constant, actions that are regular, something that is a fact, it's a present simple that you talk about it, something that is a habit, that you talk about it in the present simple, that is action that is going on, or something that is general, it's generally known. It rains during the spring, it snows during the winter, it's hot during the summer. Those are facts that are known, that cannot be changed except for certain reasons. So this is the present simple, and we'll look at some examples. I hope that helps you. Thank you.
Tape 3 W suivi d'école au Sénégal.